Go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Canton City Council. Council members, please make sure your earbuds are in and please turn your cell phones to vibrate. And we are definitely encouraging social distancing here in council chambers. With a quorum being present, the chair calls this meeting of Canton City Council to order. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Smuckler. Babcock. Here. Shulman.
Here.
Hawk. Here. Kimbrough.
Here.
Scaglione.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Fisher.
Here.
Hall.
Here.
Mariel. Ferguson.
Here.
Morris.
Here.
10 present, 2 absent, Mr. President.
Leader Babcock.
Mr. President, I move we excuse Member Schmuckler and Member Mariel from tonight's meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to excuse Member Smuckler and Member Merrill from this evening's meeting. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Babcock. Aye. Shulman.
Aye.
Hawk. Aye. Kimbrough.
Aye.
Scaglione.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Hall.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
The motion carries and Member Smuckler and Member Merrill are excused from this evening's meeting. Tonight's invocation will be given by Ward 2 Council Member Brenda Kimbrough. If you would all please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
To flag
of the
United States of America.
the Republic that stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Member Kimbrough. We are now under agenda corrections and changes. Leader Babcock.
Mr. President, I move Rule 22A be suspended to add second reading ordinances 11 through 14 to this evening's agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to suspend Rule 22A to add second readings to ordinances 11 through 14 to this evening's agenda. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Babcock. Aye. Shulman.
Aye.
Hawk. Aye. Kimbrough.
Aye.
Scaglione.
Aye.
Smith. Fisher. Hall. Ferguson. Morris.
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
The motion carries and ordinances 11 through 14 are a legal part of your agenda. We are now under public hearings and we have one for this evening. Mr. Clerk, would you please announce the public hearings?
Ordinance authorizing Canton to annex territory known as the 3008th Street Northeast Annexation Area containing approximately 1.745 acres, signing said territory as I-1 light industrial and declaring same to be an emergency.
Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak for or against this ordinance? Please step forward. I must repeat, is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak for or against this ordinance? Please step forward. Seeing no one step forward, the chair declares the public hearing over in regards to this matter. The matter now rests in the hands of council. The ordinance will follow later this evening. We are now under old business, and there is no old business for this evening. We are now under public speaks, and we have no speakers for this evening. We are now under informal resolutions, and we have one for this evening. Mr. Clerk, would you please read resolution number 1 by title?
Request Stark County Auditor to certify the City of Canton total current tax valuation of the city, including calculations of average annual tax rate in dollars and cents for each $100 of valuation as well as in mills for each dollar of tax valuation and dollar amount of revenue generated by 5 mills.
Leader Babcock.
Mr. President, I move we adopt informal resolution number 1.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt informal resolution number 1. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, by voice vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries and resolution number 1 is adopted. We're now under communications. Let the journal show that all communications are received as read. We are now under ordinances and formal resolutions for their first reading. Mr. Clerk, would you please begin with ordinance number 1?
An ordinance to provide for the issuance and sale of bond anticipation notes in one or more series in aggregate principal amount not to exceed $1,200,000 for the purpose of paying the cost of constructing, furnishing, equipping, and otherwise improving the city community center, including facilities to provide community health and related services. Refer to finance. Number 2, an ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service to advertise, receive bids, award, and enter into contract for the sale of city-owned real property no longer needed for municipal purposes located at Stark County Auditor parcel numbers 231, 489, 234, 120, 206, 291, 283, 730, and 214, 813 to enter into all contracts necessary to facilitate said sales, declaring same to be an emergency. Refer to Community Economic Development and Finance. Number 3, an ordinance authorizing the placement of water line along State Route 172 from Perry Drive to Saratoga Avenue Northwest and Perry Drive from 12th Street Southwest to State Route 172 and declaring same to be an emergency. Refer to Finance and Public Safety and Thoroughfares. Number 4, an ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service to negotiate and enter into agreement for the purchase of parcel number 213-133, declaring same to be an emergency. Refer to Finance and Public Safety and Thoroughfares. Number 5, an ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service to negotiate and enter into agreement for the purchase of parcel number 5210306 and declaring same to be an emergency. Refer to Finance and Public Property Capital Improvement. Number 6, resolution to submit for the electorate of the city of Canton a 5.0 mil levy outside the 10 mil limitation for parks and recreation purposes for a period not to exceed 5 years. Refer to Parks and Recreation and Finance Committees. Number 7, ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public safety to enter an agreement for and accept $8,720 in grant funds from the Bureau of Justice Assistance 2020 Patrick Leahy Bulletproof Best Partnership and declaring same to be an emergency. Refer to Finance. Number 8, an ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service to execute contract amendment / modification number 2 with Burgess and Nyepel, Inc. for an AM and CMOM plan development and implementation project, amending appropriation ordinance number 239-2020, declaring same to be an emergency. Refer to Finance and Environmental Public Utility. Number 9, an ordinance amending ordinance number 100-2011 as amended to adjust the licensure requirements of the Service Director's Water Reclamation Facility Superintendent position as shown on the attached exhibit, declaring same to be an emergency. Refer to Personnel and Finance. Number 10, an ordinance authorizing the mayor or director of public safety to enter into any and all contracts necessary to respond to 723 Lawrence Road Northeast, 727 Lawrence Road Northeast, and 1925 Hammond Avenue Southwest demolitions, authorizing the to pay any and all moral obligations from responding to this emergency situation and declaring same to be an emergency. Refer to Finance. Mr. President.
At this time, the chair would declare an in-house recess for Finance, Environmental and Public Utilities, and Personnel Committees to meet in regards to ordinances 7 through 10 on your agenda this evening. You are now in recess.
Thank you, Mr. President. 7:09 p.m. We'll call Finance to order. This is number 7 on your agenda. It's an ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public safety to enter an agreement for and accept $8,720 in grant funds from the Bureau of Justice Assistance 2020 Patrick Leahy Bulletproof Vest Partnership and declaring the same to be an emergency. Questions or concerns, anyone? This is simply a grant. They're giving us $8,000 to put vests on our policemen. Questions, concerns? Hearing none, we will sign this out. We're going to number 10 on your agenda. It's an ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public safety to enter into any and all contracts necessary to respond to the 723 Lawrence Road Northeast, 727 Lawrence Road Northeast, and 1925 Hammond Avenue Southwest demolitions, authorizing the auditor to pay for any and all moral obligations from responding to this emergency situation and declaring the same to be an emergency. Questions, concerns? Hearing none, we will sign that out. That concludes finance at 7:11. We're now going to a joint meeting of finance and environmental and public utilities. We'll call that to order at 7:11. This is number 8 on your agenda. It's an ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service to execute contract amendment / modifications number 2 with Burgess and Nyepel, Inc. for the AM and CMOM plan development and implementation project, amending appropriation ordinance number 239/2020 and declaring the same to be an emergency. Questions or concerns? This is $976,000. Questions, concerns, anyone? Hearing none, we will sign that out. That gives us 7:12. Thank you very much. That concludes the Joint Finance and Public Utilities Committee.
All right, it's 7:12. This is Joint Committee of Personnel and Finance. 7:12. This is an ordinance amending ordinance number 100/2011 as amended to adjust the licensure requirements of the Service Director's Water Reclamation Facility Superintendent position as shown on an attached exhibit and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Director.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, members of council, what is happening here is, as you know, since 2019 and the retirement of Mr. Tracy Mills, Mr. Mark Morgan has served as the superintendent of the Water Reclamation Facility. Unfortunately, Mr. Morgan has had some personal matters come up, and he has chosen to retire in January. January 31st is Mark's last day. Mark's done a great job. I've absolutely loved getting to work closer with him and get to know him. And very experienced, been a great employee, but just has decided that it is time. So with that, we are moving forward with our succession planning that's been in place for some time with the WRF. And the plan is to promote Ms. Deb Howdeshell to the superintendent position. And anyone who's worked with Deb knows that she is absolutely up to the task. Since 2017, since she was hired, she served as the chief kind of project manager for the membrane project. She is literally on call 24/7 monitoring the plant and is really to, in large part, be commended for the successes we have had with kind of getting everything up and running there. She's a professional engineer who holds both a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in civil engineering. The one thing we do have to work through, though, is because we are a Class 4 wastewater treatment plant, we have to have a person with a Class 4 wastewater treatment license at some point. However, there is a grace period. So the way this typically works for the Class 4 is, think of it as kind of like a thesis that you write on your wastewater treatment plant. So the person applying for the Class 4 license through Ohio EPA goes through the process and kind of does the project on their own plant. So Deb has, in fact, applied for her Class 4 license through Ohio EPA and is working through the process. And I have no reason to doubt that she will be successful with this. And there is an administrative rule that allows us to have effectively for 24 months, there's a 24-month grace period where a person with a Class 3 can be the operator of record so long as they have applied for and their application is approved to have the Class 4 license. So since Deb has submitted the application and is working through that, that is our intent here. Just a little bit sooner than we thought it would happen. So essentially all we're doing with the classification plan, I talked to the law director, and she advised that this was the most proper way to do this, is to just state on the classification plan something more broad, such as the superintendent must possess the appropriate license required to be operator of record. And that's how we're wording it now, because it's all Ohio EPA mandated, so it gives that flexibility, so we're always in compliance with Ohio EPA. So happy to answer any questions or concerns about this one.
Mr.
Any
Chairman?
questions? Thank you, Director.
Mr. Chairman?
Oh,
Hello?
Member Morris.
Member Morris.
Yeah. Director Hyman, apparently Deb would be Plan B. B.
Would be what?
Do we have a new Plan B? Okay, apparently she is Plan B, so do we have a backup?
Yeah, well, that is a great question, because we, as you know, we have tried, and council has been very supportive of us having succession plans in all of our departments. And everyone knew Mark would at some point retire. Unfortunately, it's a little earlier than we thought, so the plan was always to, at some point, promote Deb. So as of today, we have posted the position for Assistant Superintendent of the Water Reclamation Facility. So we'll go through that process, and we'll backfill Deb's job. And a couple other moves that we've made in the last year or so have helped us to kind of prepare for this. So if you recall, we were having trouble hiring the facilities engineer down at the plant, and that's a person with the PE. And so we did the classification plan change last year, where we were able to hire either an engineer 2 or a facilities engineer. The engineer 2 is more like a degreed engineer, slightly more entry-level engineering. We did get a successful candidate, there in that position. So we have an engineer 2 that is relatively young in his career, so he'll be able to work and learn the plant. He's new at the plant. And then we also filled the position of chief operator. So we're in the process kind of working through some of our next generation planning, but we do need to backfill that assistant superintendent role, and we posted it today.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Morris. Member Hall?
Director Hyman, those 2 people that you were saying are working up through the ranks, are they local residents or were they brought in?
I do not know where. I know that the engineer 2, I believe he lives in Cuyahoga Falls. I, off the top of my head, and he was hired externally, as you know. And then in terms of the chief operator, I don't know where. Honestly, I have no idea where he lives. He was an internal candidate who was promoted.
Okay. Thank you, Director. It is 7:20, and that concludes Finance and Personnel.
Good. Council is reconvening after the recess. Leader Babcock.
Mr. President, I move we suspend Rule 22A to place ordinances 7 through 10 back on this evening's agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to suspend Rule 22A to place ordinances 7 through 10 back on this evening's agenda. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Babcock. Shulman.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Kimbrough.
Aye.
Scaglione. Smith. Fisher. Hall. Ferguson. Morris.
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
The motion carries, and ordinances 7 through 10 are a legal part of your agenda. Leader Babcock.
Mr. President, I move we suspend the statutory rules on ordinances 7 through 10.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to suspend the statutory rules on ordinances 7 through 10. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Babcock? Aye. Showman?
Aye.
Hawk?
Aye.
Kimbrough?
Aye.
Scaglione? Smith? Fisher? Hall? Ferguson? Morris?
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
You've heard the three readings. Leader Babcock.
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 7.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that you adopt ordinance number 7. Are there any remarks under this ordinance? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Babcock? Aye. Showman?
Aye.
Hawk?
Aye.
Kimbrough?
Aye.
Scaglione? Smith? Fisher? Hall? Ferguson? Morris?
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
The motion carries and ordinance number 7 is adopted. Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 8.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that you adopt ordinance number 8. Are there any remarks under this ordinance? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Babcock? Aye. Showman?
Aye.
Hawk?
Aye.
Kimbrough?
Aye.
Scaglione? Smith? Fisher? Hall? Ferguson? Morris?
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 8 is adopted. Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 9.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that you adopt ordinance number 9. Are there any remarks under this ordinance? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Babcock? Aye. Showman?
Aye.
Hawk?
Aye.
Kimbrough?
Aye.
Scaglione? Smith? Fisher? Hall? Ferguson? Morris?
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
The motion carries and ordinance number 9 is adopted. Leader Babcock.
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 10.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that you adopt ordinance number 10. Are there any remarks under this ordinance? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Babcock? Aye. Showman?
Aye.
Hawk?
Aye.
Kimbrough?
Aye.
Scaglione? Smith? Fisher? Hall? Ferguson? Morris?
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 10 is adopted. We are now under ordinances and formal resolutions for their second reading. Mr. Clerk, would you please begin with ordinance number 11?
An ordinance vacating portion of a 12-foot alley, approving and accepting the replat of lots 13241, 13242, and 20480, and the vacated portion of the 12-foot alley vacated herein, declaring same to be an emergency. Number 12, an ordinance vacating portion of Olive Place Northeast, an unnamed 10-foot alley, approving and accepting the replat of lots 14157 through 14162, and lots 43372, and the vacated portions of streets vacated herein, declaring same to be an emergency. Number 13, an ordinance approving Canton City water main extension to Great Baptist Church, authorizing the mayor, director of public service to enter into any agreements necessary for the extension of said water main, declaring same to be an emergency. Number 14, an ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service to enter into an easement agreement with the East Ohio Gas Company, DBA Dominion Energy, Ohio, for installation of 2 gas utility pipelines, and declaring same to be an emergency.
Leader Babcock.
Mr. President, I move we suspend the statutory rules on ordinance number 14.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to suspend the statutory rules on ordinance number 14. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Babcock? Aye. Showman?
Aye.
Hawk?
Aye.
Kimbrough?
Aye.
Scaglione? Smith? Fisher? Hall? Ferguson? Morris?
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
The motion carries. You've heard the 3 readings. Leader Babcock.
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 14.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that you adopt ordinance number 14. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Babcock? Aye. Showman?
Aye.
Hawk?
Aye.
Kimbrough?
Aye.
Scaglione? Smith? Fisher? Hall? Ferguson. Morris.
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
The motion carries and ordinance number 14 has been adopted. We are now under ordinances and formal resolutions for their third final reading and vote. Mr. Clerk, please begin with ordinance number 15.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 100/2011 as amended to remove the Director of Planning from the Mayor's Office Management and Non-Bargaining Classification Plan and placing it into a newly created Department of Planning and Zoning and add to the newly created Department of Planning and Zoning the position of Planning Administrator, amending ordinance number 40/2000 as amended to update the bargaining unit classification plan for the Division of Community and Economic Development and Planning Management, Safety Director's Department, Code Enforcement, and establishing the classification plan for bargaining unit personnel for the Department of Planning and Zoning and declaring the same be an emergency.
Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 15.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 15. Are there any remarks?
Mr. President,
Member Morris.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Director Hyman and Deputy Mayor Williams for going over this legislation with me this evening. As always, Director Hyman did an excellent job of answering each and every one of my questions. So thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Member Morris. Are there any additional remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Babcock? Aye. Showman?
Aye.
Hall?
Aye.
Kimbrough?
Aye.
Scaglione? Smith? Fisher? Hall? Ferguson? Morris?
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 15 is adopted. Ordinance number 16, please.
An ordinance authorizing Canton to annex the territory known as the 3000 H Street Northeast Annexation Area containing approximately 1.745 acres, more or less, signing said territory as I-1 Light Industrial and declaring same to be an emergency.
Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 16.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 16. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Babcock? Aye. Showman?
Aye.
Hall?
Aye.
Kimbrough?
Aye.
Scaglione? Smith? Fisher? Hall? Ferguson? Morris?
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 16 is adopted. Ordinance number 17, please.
An ordinance approving and accepting the replat of lots 35841, 35842, and 35843 and declaring same to be an emergency.
Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 17.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 17. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Babcock? Aye. Showman?
Aye.
Hall?
Aye.
Kimbrough?
Aye.
Scaglione? Smith? Fisher? Hall? Ferguson? Morris?
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 17 is adopted. Ordinance number 18, please.
An ordinance approving and accepting the replat of lots 2416, 2417, declaring same to be an emergency.
Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 18.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 18. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Babcock? Aye. Showman?
Aye.
Hall?
Aye.
Kimbrough?
Aye.
Scaglione? Smith? Fisher? Hall? Ferguson? Morris?
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 18 is adopted. Ordinance number 19, please.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 68, 2019, classification plan for management and non-bargaining unit personnel, declaring same to be an emergency.
Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 19.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 19. Are there any remarks? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Babcock? Aye. Showman?
Aye.
Hawk?
Aye.
Kimbrough?
Aye.
Scaglione? Smith? Fisher? Hall? Ferguson? Morris?
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 19 is adopted. Ordinance number 20, please.
An ordinance authorizing the appropriate appointing authority during calendar year 2021 to sell city-owned personal property which is not needed for public use or is obsolete or unfit for the use for which it was acquired by internet auction pursuant to ORC 721.15D and declaring same to be an emergency.
Leader.
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 20.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 20. Are there any remarks? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Babcock. Showman.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Kimbrough.
Aye.
Scaglione. Smith. Fisher. Hall. Ferguson. Morris.
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 20 is adopted. Ordinance number 21, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service, to advertise, see bids, award, and enter into contracts for the purchase of one small packer, one boom load truck, and one roll-off truck for the sanitation department, alternatively purchase said vehicles pursuant to any procurement process authorized by law and declaring same to be an emergency.
Leader.
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 21.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 21. Are there any remarks? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Babcock. Aye. Showman.
Aye.
Hawk. Kimbrough.
Aye.
Scaglione. Smith. Fisher. Hall. Ferguson. Morris.
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 21 is adopted. Ordinance number 22, please.
Ordinance authorizing mayor, director of public service to advertise, see bids, award, and execute a construction contract for the building of a new dechlorination building for the lagoons at the Canton Water Department's Sugar Creek Water Treatment Plant, declaring same to be an emergency.
Leader.
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 22.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 22. Are there any remarks? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Babcock. Aye. Showman.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Kimbrough.
Aye.
Scaglione. Smith. Fisher. Hall. Ferguson. Morris.
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 22 is adopted. Ordinance number 23, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service to execute a professional services contract with Burgess and Nyepel in an amount not to exceed $50,000 for design of the Brentwood interior tank painting project and declaring same to be an emergency.
Leader.
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 23.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 23. Are there any remarks? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Babcock. Aye. Showman.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Kimbrough.
Aye.
Scaglione. Smith. Fisher. Hall. Ferguson. Morris.
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 23 is adopted. Ordinance number 24, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service to execute change order number 2 and final with H.M. Miller Construction Company in an amount not to exceed $26,671.55 for the 4th Street Southwest Sewer Relocation Project, GP 1303. Retroactively authorizes all actions taken prior to the finalization of said change order to facilitate the project. Authorizing Yara to pay any more obligations related to same and declaring same to be an emergency.
Leader.
President, I move we adopt ordinance number 24.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 24. Are there any remarks? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Babcock. Aye. Showman.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Kimbrough.
Aye.
Scaglione. Smith. Fisher. Hall. Ferguson. Morris.
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 24 is adopted. Ordinance number 25, please.
Ordinance authorizing mayor, director of public service to execute change order number 3 and final with SET Inc. in amount not to exceed $17,047.17 for the Fawcett Court Northwest Drainage Project, GP 1300. Retroactively authorizes all actions taken prior to the finalization of said change order to facilitate the project. Authorizing the auditor to pay any more obligations related to the same, declaring same to be an emergency.
Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 25.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 25. Are there any remarks? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Babcock? Showman?
Aye.
Hawk?
Aye.
Kimbrough?
Aye.
Scaglione? Smith? Fisher? Hall? Ferguson? Morris?
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 25 is adopted. Ordinance number 26, please.
Ordinance authorizing the mayor or director of public service to execute change order number 2 and final with First Choice Electric Solutions LLC, the amount not to exceed $6,317.76 for the East Tuscaroras Electric Vehicle Charging Stations Project GP 1316. Retroactively authorizes all actions taken prior to the finalization of said change order to facilitate the project. Authorizing the auditor to pay any moral obligations related to the same and declaring same to be an emergency.
Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 26.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 26. Are there any remarks? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Babcock. Showman.
Aye.
Hall.
Aye.
Kimbrough.
Aye.
Scaglione. Smith. Fisher. Hall. Ferguson. Morris.
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 26 is adopted. And ordinance number 27, please.
Ordinance authorizing and consenting to the installation of wet reflective pavement markers along US 62 and declaring same to be an emergency.
Leader Babcock.
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 27.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 27. Are there any remarks? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Babcock. Aye. Showman.
Aye.
Hall.
Aye.
Kimbrough.
Aye.
Scaglione. Smith. Fisher. Hall. Ferguson. Morris.
Aye.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 27 is adopted. We are now under announcement of committee meetings.
Mr. President,
Member Hawk.
Finance Committee will meet at 6:45 on January 25th, 2021.
Member Huck, 6:30, please.
I'll address, thank you, Clerk, 6:30, please, I'll amend that.
Thank you.
6:30 PM, January 21st at 2021.
Thank you, Member Hawk. Member Ferguson. Thank you, Member Ferguson.
Mr. President,
Member Scaglione.
public property capital improvement will meet the same night, same time.
Thank you, Member Scaglione. Member Hall. Yep. Thank you, Member Hall. And Member Kimbrough.
Public Safety and Thoroughfares Committee will meet at the same time and same place. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Kimbrough. We're now under miscellaneous business, and at this time, I would ask Mr. Jim Adams, our Health Director, to give us an update on COVID-19 and vaccinations and testing. And Jim, you have the floor.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
President. Thank you, members of council. Before I start, I want to take a minute to thank the staff at our health department for all they've done through COVID throughout this period of time. They've done extraordinary work, and you should be very, very proud of them. They've spent literally thousands and thousands of extra hours above and beyond their normal duties throughout this pandemic, and they're spending more time as we roll out vaccinations. And I couldn't be prouder of the work that they've done, and I think you should too. I'd also like to thank the mayor and his administration, especially his cabinet and his appointing authorities, for the cooperation they've had. Their police chief and fire chief, as well as the department heads, have really managed through some very difficult situations, and they've done your city administration has done a very, very nice job in managing through these difficult situations, and they'll continue to do that too. So I really want to thank them and appreciate them for that. I do have just a few things that I want to update about COVID. One is that COVID still is alive and well in our community. We still are experiencing, a large amount of new cases, and we expect to continue to do so for the next few months. The good news is that we had an early Christmas gift, and that is we've had some vaccinations that have rolled out in our community. We think vaccines and vaccination are going to get us out of this pandemic, and that in conjunction with the things that we're already doing for mitigating risk and exposure in our community are going to work us out of this pandemic. So let me spend just a couple of minutes talking about vaccines and what we're doing locally in the community about that. As I'm sure we've all heard in the news, the vaccine is in fairly limited supply, so they've tiered the availability of vaccine to various members of the community based upon vaccine supply. So it has been determined by the governor's office, and I want to point out that the vaccine is a state asset. It's the responsibility of the state of Ohio to distribute this vaccine equitably in the community. And those decisions are being made at the governor's office level. They're not at my level, they're not at the health department level. They are at the governor's office level that are making these decisions about these various tier groups. And so they have determined that in this very first tier, Tier 1A, people like healthcare workers, emergency medical service providers, and other people that are providing direct patient care for COVID patients are in that initial tier. Also included in that tier are people that live in group homes, such as developmental disabilities, long-term care, and assisted living facilities. And so we've been working very hard to make sure that the vaccine that is available is getting out to those groups. Currently, vaccine is available from 3 different sources. The first is a federal program that utilizes 2 large pharmacy chains to provide vaccinations at long-term care facilities that includes assisted living. So that's our nursing home facilities. So that is going out to folks that are residing in nursing facilities and also their staff. And that is being provided directly by the federal government. And virtually all nursing homes within Stark County have signed up for that program and are currently being vaccinated as part of that program. The other 2 sources of vaccine in our community are hospitals. So our 2 hospital systems in Stark County have each received allocations of vaccine and are responsible for vaccinating their medical care staff within their institutions, and they have been doing that. And the last group is local health departments. So all 4 health departments in Stark County have received allocations of vaccines over the past 2 weeks, and we have begun vaccinating Tier 1A groups within our community. In Canton, we have completed our vaccination process for our EMS and fire personnel. We've also done vaccinations for small medical practices, and we've also done vaccinations for group homes related to developmental disabilities and other in Group 1A. Unfortunately, we've only done about 200 vaccinations since early last week. We do have plenty of vaccine and plenty of capacity, but we have been running into trouble getting people to come in for vaccinations, if you can imagine that. So we've been making basically cold calls out to people that we believe are in risk 1A and saying, we have vaccine available, please come into the health department and get your vaccines. So that is our strategy for this next week as we continue to try to encourage people in that first risk group to get their vaccinations. As I mentioned before, the governor's office is the one that's making the call about, when we move into what they call Tier 1B. It's not clear to me exactly who is going to be included in Tier 1B, and that is being discussed at the governor's office, and it's been my indication that they will not make a decision until at least this Friday about what is included in Tier 1B or the timing of that 1B rollout. I can tell you that we are busy planning for community-based vaccination clinics as 1B rolls out. It most certainly will include older adults in our community. We think there'll be a great acceptance of the vaccine in our older adult population. We're already getting lots of calls about that. And so we are planning a series of community clinics to be able to do that out in the community, as well as vaccination clinics at our health department. So once we get the green light for that, we want to be set up and ready to roll and to get that out in the community just as effectively as we can. I do want to point out that we still need to maintain our vigilance with community mitigation, so experiences like this at City Council will continue for some time. And what will be the trigger to relax those kinds of things will be, it will be a decrease in the incidence of COVID in the community. And right now our incidence rate is around 600 or so per 100,000 population. And for reference, that needs to get down around 50. So we really want to get that number down. We have experienced a considerable spike after Thanksgiving. I think our highest single day total for new cases was around December 2nd or December 1st. And our one day total in Stark County for that day was 524. And now we're down to around 157 cases a day. So, you know, we definitely have experienced a spike, and we're seeing the downward slope of that spike. I do predict we'll see a second bump or a second hump in that wave here as part of the Christmas and New Year's holiday celebrations. And then we'll begin this, you know, slow slide down to, you know, much lower incident rates that we can manage. But still in play will be social distancing, wearing face coverings, limited business opportunities, you know, spreading apart at work, you know, those kinds of things are still going to be features that we'll see, you know, through the spring and possibly into the summer. Just another little note about vaccine. You know, we certainly understand reservations about accepting vaccine. We'll point out that the health department is very concerned about the health of the community, and vaccinations have long been a cornerstone of preventing communicable disease. And for many, many years, vaccinations and childhood vaccinations have been really the cornerstone at reducing the burden of disease in the community. And so will COVID vaccine. And so COVID vaccine has been developed using the same safety protocols that other vaccines are developed. And we really encourage people to carefully consider receiving the vaccine and deciding to get the vaccine when it becomes available to their risk group. But we do understand the hesitancy for that, and it's a decision that you're going to have to make for yourself. Nobody's going to force anybody to get vaccinated. So where are we at right now? We still have a very high community spread of COVID in our community. So all these things that I mentioned before about social distancing and mask wearing and hand washing, avoiding large groups, and keeping our bubble small are all going to be features of our life for the next several months. The vaccines have been a great gift for us, but we're still early in the vaccination process. And as time wears on, we'll see that vaccines have a greater impact in reducing our incidence rate. As I mentioned, we are working through our initial 1A list, and we're planning for how we're going to implement 1B when it's finally rolled out by the governor's office. So we still have a lot of hard work to do, but there's a lot of hope on the horizon, and that's the direction we're going. And we're going to get there with your help in the community. And I'll be glad to answer as many or few questions as you'd like to ask.
Member Fisher.
Mr. Adams, you making these phone calls?
Our health department is making calls to people that we know are in risk 1A in our community.
Do you let them know that they're eligible for that vaccine? Have you seen a lot of them come in, or is there still a lot of resistance to that?
There has been some resistance, and I think there's two parts to that resistance. One is, I think some people don't want to be the first ones to get the vaccine. They're kind of waiting to see, you know, what the first few people that are getting vaccinated, what that looks like for them, and if there's, you know, been adverse reactions and things like that. I can point out of the vaccines that we've administered, we've had no serious reactions reported at all. The other one is there's just some timing issues. You know, this was rolled out right around the holidays, and a lot of people had other plans. They didn't want to disrupt their plans. A little disappointed with the kind of lack of urgency that people feel in that, and I would like to tell people that, you know, this is an urgent situation. You know, when the 1B opens up, we're going to have a lot more people that are going to be wanting to get vaccinated, and we won't have enough vaccine. So right now for Tier 1A, this time is reserved for you, and we want people to contact us and come in while we still have the vaccine available for them.
Mr. President.
Member Morris.
Director Adams, you said to date that the local health department has administered 200 shots, and you're going through your 1A list trying to get people to come in. Once we escalate to 1B list, how many potential people are we looking at that could get the vaccination?
I don't exactly know the total counts for 1B because I think it includes people 65 and older, and that's a sizable population in the city of Canton. So I do not know the exact number of that.
We don't have any indication of what we're going to receive?
We do not know what we're going to receive until usually Friday or Monday before we receive it. And that is based upon allocations that are provided by the federal government to the state of Ohio. So when that allocation is made, the state gets their allocation, and then on Monday they make a decision how they're going to send it out. And we don't get a heads up. Usually it's within that 24-hour period before it's delivered.
Okay, now you had made an indication that vaccinations could be done in a community-based setting. So are we to assume that we will be seeing different quadrants of the city, such as down at the Southeast Community Center and areas like that, so our seniors can have be able to get there easier? Or are we going to, how's that going to look?
Mm-hmm. That is correct. We have looked at different quadrants of the city. We've also looked at a study that was done in conjunction with the Ohio Department of Health to identify areas of high need and trying to locate locations within those particular geographic areas. And we've looked at it down to the census tract level to make sure we identify locations that people are able to access.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Member Morris. One question that I would have, where would individuals under the age of 65 with pre-existing conditions fall into play?
It's unclear.
Okay.
There has been a list suggested of people that might have some congenital health conditions, and that list has changed. So until the governor's office really publishes the list, we really don't know where that's going to land.
And one additional question I had, Mr. Adams, would be with our court system like common pleas, and they're dealing with the public on a daily basis, where would any guidance where they might fall in the mix?
I don't know where they're in the mix at all right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate your honesty. Yeah. Member Scaglione.
Yes, Director Adams, thank you for everything everyone in your department is doing. I obviously, as we've spoke, had a couple concerns with the availability of testing and would hope that the state of Ohio would do something to help make that a little better. When someone's driving from Canton to Orrville or Canton to Cleveland to try to secure a test, that's a lot of time that person could be in contact with somebody else, and I don't think it's helping matters. But there's a big issue there, but there's also some misconceptions out there, and I need you to clear this one up if you can. I hear a lot that if someone's had COVID, they don't need to worry about anything for 6 to 9 months. They think they're okay. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Sure. Two parts to your question. I'll address the testing part first, and you and I talked about this, and I think that the testing strategy for the United States has really been abysmal, and the strategy from the beginning has been uneven. The states were kind of put out there on their own, and they had to compete with each other to try to develop a testing strategy, and it's just kind of been a wreck. Locally, we've managed to have 2 drive-through testing events. I think they actually went very well. They are episodic events. I would much rather see testing available on a daily basis on demand, but the resources are just not there to do that, and for a variety of reasons that we've talked about. The other part about that you ask about is about immunity after infection, and right now it is unclear how that immunity lasts. We think that it's at least 3 months. But we do not know if there's lasting immunity after that initial 3-month period. But it seems that there's at least about a 90-day period where people are much less likely to be reinfected if they're positive for COVID.
Well, again, thank you for all your guys' work. I know you guys have been working long hours along with our healthcare professionals. I appreciate them and everyone that's fighting this thing. And I don't know how we can get a better grasp on the testing, but I sure would like to see our residents not out driving around to Cleveland or Orrville when they're sick and maybe ready to crash their car because they're so sick and they're just trying to get a test. So if there's anything the governor or anyone else can do to help with that, I think we would all greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Member Scaglione. Member Ferguson.
Yes, Jim, thank you, and thank you, staff, for all you do. Appreciate it. You know, I was part of your board for a number of years, and I know how hard you work. Two things. Pfizer and Moderna have come out, and they're going to give 2 shots. 30 days apart? Is that correct? And then I just read in one of the journals earlier this morning that up until the age of 55, they're saying that maybe 1 shot will be just as effective as both of them. I think it's confusing to a lot of people. How do you interpret that when probably there's a large percentage of people right now who aren't going to get the shot because they're a little bit confused? Can you just address that?
Sure. So for both Pfizer and Moderna, the testing that went into the approval for the use of that vaccine included a 2-shot regimen. So you have an initial vaccination plus the booster shot somewhere between 3 and 4 weeks after, depending upon the manufacturer. So that was what was evaluated. That was what was approved by the federal committees. That was what was approved by FDA. So from my understanding, that is what the United States will follow. They're going to follow the science that was done for the safety and efficacy of both the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccine, and that's a 2-shot regimen.
It's a little confusing when people would ask you about it.
Well, and I think I think you've seen in the news, that some countries, I think England has suggested they might only use 1 shot. That's not what the science is telling us, not what was approved for that. There are other vaccines that are in the pipeline that are only of 1 shot, just there's no booster involved. So as they come online, obviously people have choices on the kinds of vaccine that they will be receiving. Yep.
Thank you, Member Ferguson. Are there any additional questions for Mr. Adams? Jim, I would like to thank you personally for what you and your staff are doing. I don't envy your position right now, but I appreciate your leadership through these turbulent times that we're all going through.
Well, you're very welcome. It's what we're here for.
And thank you for coming down tonight.
Yep. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Clerk Doherty, our quote for the week, please.
We have a new year, thank goodness. May all your troubles last as long as your New Year's resolutions.
And before we adjourn, I would like to ask everybody to keep Majority Leader Smuckler and his wife Randy in your prayers with the passing of Randy's mother, Bill's mother-in-law. And with that, Leader Babcock.
Mr. President, I move we adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. Mr. Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Babcock, Shulman,
Aye.
Hall,
Aye.
Kimbrough,
Aye.
Scaglione, Smith, Fisher, Hall, Ferguson, Morris.
Absolutely.
10 yeas, Mr. President.
Yep. This meeting's adjourned. Thank you for coming.
Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone.
Bye.